Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Today we have week 7 of the BHDL1, so we're going to go ahead and get this battle on its way. It is going to be against the notorious H.I.M, and so there we go. Looks like IGN is going to be H.I.M. And so, yeah, we'll take a look and see what he brought to battle. So he's got the low kicks, he's got the Tornadus, he's got the Gyarados, he's got the Lucario, he's got the Gardevoir, and he's got the Baxcalibur. So basically what I was expecting. I don't think there's any huge surprises here. So, the question is, what do I want to lead with here? That is a good question. I think we actually lead with the... It's a tough one. I think we actually lead with the Earthworm in this one. And we will see how that works out. So, yeah, really hoping that we can go ahead and get a big victory this week, trying to rebound from last week. And, yeah, we're kind of in an interesting situation in this match. For different reasons, my opponent and I need to win this game in order to clinch at least a wild card spot. He needs to win this to stay alive, so we'll see what he does. He's going to go ahead and lead with the low kicks, kind of as expected, as I lead with the Earthworm. So this is not a terrible matchup for me. The Earthworm is obviously very physically defensive, so I don't really expect him to want to stay in on this matchup. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and take this opportunity to go ahead and throw a layer of spikes at him as he just goes for a U-turn. It does do some chip damage, and he does get the pivot out, obviously. So he does have U-turn on the low kicks. That's no great surprise there. We'll see what he wants to go into. Based on the damage output of that, it doesn't look banded, although maybe it is. Kind of hard to tell because Earthworm is so bulky on the physical side, obviously, which is kind of why I led with it to hopefully stop low kicks in some capacity. So we'll see what he wants to bring in here. It is going to be the Tornadus. So he's coming in with that. We are going to go for the layer of spikes to get that set up on him, which is going to be important this game, as there will probably be a lot of pivoting on his side based on the team he has, I think. So we're going to go ahead and get some HP back with the leftovers as well, which is nice. And so, yeah, we really don't have any business staying in against Tornadus. These things are usually special. So I think what we want to do here... we definitely switch. I feel like our best switch is probably Goodra to this thing. So I think we just go into the Goodra here to try and take a special hit from this thing. So that's what we're going to do. So there it is. And we'll see what he wants to do. He's going to go for a Tailwind. So that's actually bad news for us. That's going to go ahead and increase the speed of all of his Pokemon for several turns. So that's obviously not good. Now we have a little bit of a choice to make on our hands here. I feel like he probably doesn't stay in on this matchup, so knowing that, I feel like we probably just go for an Acid Spray to try and get some damage and a special defense drop on whatever he does stay in. And now he could come in with the Lucario, which would be bad. That definitely could happen, but we could also have fire coverage on deck, so I don't know how willing he's going to be to do that. Kind of a difficult choice for us to make. I feel like we just go for the Acid Spray, so we're going to do that as he does just U-turn out, so I kind of figured he would. Not going to do too much of anything, but he is going to get, of course, another pivot here. So what is he going to come in with is the question. So hopefully it's not Lucario. Anything else would be something at least. So we'll see what he wants to do here. He does have a number of switches to the Dragon move. obviously, and we did have coverage for that thing, but we didn't want to go for it just yet. So yeah, this will kind of be important to see what he brings in here. As long as it's not Lucario, it should be not terrible for us. I don't know if he would bring, well, it's going to be, looks like it is going to be the Lucario, unfortunately, so that sucks. So that thing comes in, he takes some spikes damage. We go for the Acid Spray, so obviously it's not going to do anything to this thing, so that does suck. So now we're kind of in a bad spot because we do not want to let this thing set up, but at the exact same time, this is also one of his Terra Captains. But at the exact same time, we don't really want to take a big shot with Goodra either. So this is kind of a bad position to be in, actually, for a number of reasons, because obviously this being his Terra Captain, one of his Terra Captains. I feel like we can't... I kind of don't think we can switch here, because if he chooses to set up, that's going to be really bad. It's hard because I don't want to lose Goodra, but at the same time, if he goes for a setup move here, this could be really bad news for us. So I feel like he probably does try to set up, so I feel like we stay in and we Fire Blast. I feel like we have to do that. So he does stay in, he goes close combat. We can't take it, unfortunately. That's probably banded damage if I had to guess. But we lose Goodra there and go down to 5, so that's really bad, actually. As he takes some defense drops and we go down to 5. So that's bad. I feel like that might be banded damage, actually, just due to the fact that that one-shotted the Goodra. But that is really bad that that did one-shot the Goodra. And he does still have Tailwind up, which is pretty bad. So now we have a pretty big choice to make here. We know he's going to outspeed. We don't have a great switch. In this situation, we really don't have a great switch. If he is banded, I don't know that Gastrodon can actually take one of those. Earthworm, if we Terra, can. I didn't want to use my Terra on Earthworm so early like this, but I feel like we actually probably just have to do that. Yeah, I feel like we have to do that. Yeah, so this Lucario definitely has us in a little bit of a bad spot here. So I feel like we have to come in with the Earthworm, and I feel like we have to probably pop our Terra into a fighting type so that we don't take super effective damage from the close combat, and then try to revenge kill this thing with a body press. As much as I don't want to do that, I feel like that might, because I really don't want to do that, but at the same time, I feel like that's probably our only play right now. Because if he just goes close combat again, he's going to take us out. So yeah, I feel like we just do that. I don't want to do it. But I think that's our only play right now, actually. As unfortunate as it is, I think that's our only play. So yeah, we do that, and we'll see what he wants to do here. We have to Terra Fighting and go for a body press on this thing. It could easily backfire. He does stay in, so it might not backfire, so we're going to go ahead and pop our Terra, Terrasolizing our Earthworm into a pure fighting type, so we lose the fighting weakness here. So there it is, and he's obviously going to outspeed us. He does go for the close combat, and how well do we take it? He actually gets a critical hit and takes us out. So, youch. That is, wow. That is horrible. Oh, man. That is awful. Yeah, that's awful. That's really awful. That crit. Jesus. That crit. So yeah, we lost Earthworm, we lost our Terra to a crit. So yeah, that's a thing that just happened. His Tailwind's gone, so I guess that's something. Yeah, I don't even, I'm not even really 100% sure what we do right now. I guess really the only thing we can do is he's pretty obviously choice, I think, at this point. I guess we just go into Hawlucha. I guess we could. Or Iron Moth. I guess we just go into Iron Moth here, Scarf. that's really all we can do. But yeah, I don't even really know what to say at this point. That close combat. That crit definitely did matter because we are maximally defensively invested. So even if that is choice band damage, we do take one of those, I believe, on a normal effective hit. So yeah, don't really know what to say to that except for we got to try and shake it off and move past it here. So the only thing we can really do, I guess the only thing we can do is try to take this thing out with an attack. He's at -2 defenses, so we could just go for the flamethrower, but he has a lot of switches to it. I guess we just go for the discharge, because that should be enough to take this thing out at -2 special defense anyway. So we got to take a risk, I guess, as we do. He actually does withdraw the Lucario, and hopefully he comes in with the Gyarados. That would be nice, but we don't know for sure. Or the Tornadus. He actually does come in with the Gardevoir, takes some spikes damage. He doesn't have Trace, which is interesting. We go Discharge, and that takes him down to about exactly half. So unfortunately, I think it's going to be really close. It's going to be way too close as to whether or not we can take him out with another discharge, and I'm not comfortable that we can take him out with another discharge. So I feel like we switch to Pincurchin here. I think that's the switch to get our electric terrain up. I think that is the switch, so that's what we're going to do. And then we do kind of preserve the information that we're Scarf, which is good. So yeah, we switch to the Pincurchin here. That's really all we can do. We got to get the terrain up. We got to make something happen here. Well, that's weird. His Trace just activated there, so I guess he can't Trace Photosynthesis or... he can't trace... I guess they can't trace Photosynthesis or I'm blanking out here, or electric, or, you know, the whatever the other one is. I'm blanking out here. So they go for the Psychic, knock us down a little below half. That could very well be Specs damage. We can't take another one, obviously. He probably stays in and just takes us out with another one, but I feel like we just, to get some chip damage on this thing, we could just Sucker Punch it. I guess that's what we do here, just to chip this thing. Although I think the chip damage is probably negligible, but I guess we just do it anyway. We just go Sucker Punch here. So he does stay in, we go Sucker Punch. Nearly actually takes him out almost, as he goes for another Psychic and takes the Pincurchin out, knocks us down to 3. So we are in an absolutely horrible spot right now. There's no two ways about it. So we have to start trying to make some plays to try and get back into this one, because we are in a really bad spot right now. We are down 3-6 right now. So we come in with the Iron Moth, I think. He could be Scarf the way he's playing this too. He doesn't know where Scarf, obviously. So we're going to get Quark Drive. That's the other one. Couldn't think of it. So we're going to get Quark Drive to increase our special attack here, which is something. Now, I feel like he knows we have Discharge, but he would be very hesitant. I think he probably just lets this go down here. We can't really Choice Lock into... we got to Choice Lock into something, that's the question. I feel like Discharge is probably the safest play at this point. So yeah, we just lock into Discharge, I think. So he does stay in, we go Discharge and take him out, so that's something. So we take out the Gardevoir and knock him down to 5. So at this point, if he's Scarf, he's going to know we're Scarf, so he's going to know we're locked into Discharge, so he can kind of bring in something accordingly. So we'll see what he wants to do with that. Yeah, so it's definitely not going great for us. So we got to try and hopefully, we got to think of a way to make something happen here. The only good news is he's going to be scared off of bringing in the Gyarados, bringing in the Gyarados or the Tornadus, because he knows we're Scarf and he knows we have electric coverage and he knows we're on the electric terrain. So he can't really bring either of those in unless Gyarados is one of his Terra Captains, actually. So he could have a Terra on deck to deal with us, but he's really thinking about this one, so we'll see what he wants to do here. He is going to go ahead and come in with the Gyarados, which can mean only one thing, of course. That means that he is going to Terra this turn, no questions asked. Now the question, well, I guess the one question to be asked is does he Terra to a ground type? And the other question that we have to keep in mind here is the fact that we only have We actually only have 2 turns of electric terrain left. Because, yeah, okay, so I just saw something that is really awful. Another awful thing for us right now. That's that we only have 2 turns of electric terrain left because Gardevoir's Trace set the electric terrain and not Pink Urchin, which means that we only get 5 turns of the terrain instead of 2. So I don't know if that was an unintended consequence or what, but he's definitely going to Terra here. We have to switch. There's no two ways about it. With only 2 turns on the terrain left, I think it's probably, unfortunately, we have to just switch into Hawlucha right now. I think that's the only play. So that's what we do, because we got to get the Electric Seed going here before the terrain is over. So we're kind of forced to just make this play because the terrain turns are up and we lost Pink Urchin. So we come in with the Hawlucha. We go ahead and pop the Electric Seed to go ahead and get ourselves a physical defense increase. Unburden activated, of course, and he is going to Terra, of course, as you would expect. So he's going to go ahead and Terrasilize the Gyarados into a ground type. Kind of figured that was coming. So there is Terra Ground Gyarados. And so he is going to go ahead and go for the Dragon Dance as expected, so he definitely knew that we were locked in, obviously, to the discharge. So that's terrible. So yeah, this game is going absolutely off. That crit, man, that crit on that Earthworm probably cost us the game, I'm not going to lie, but we're still going to try. I guess the only thing we can do is close combat this thing for max damage. Although we could try to acrobatics to try and live an attack from this thing based on, you know, but at +1, I don't know that we actually take an attack, so it might not be worth it to even try. But you know what? I think we have to try and preserve Hawlucha at this point since we're down by so much, I think. So we probably just, even though it's a little less damage, we probably just go acrobatics here. I think we still outspeed, and we do still outspeed. Acrobatics incoming. It does about 2/3, which is great damage. He survives, goes for the Thunder Wave, actually, and paralyzes the Hawlucha. So that's pretty unfortunate. So Hawlucha is going to be paralyzed now from the Gyarados, and he's got leftovers. So, yeah, and the electricity is going to be gone, so no more Quark Drive, obviously, for the Iron Moth. So he's only got 2 attacking moves, that means. So he's probably, if I had to guess, he's probably got Earthquake and Waterfall, more than likely. Now, we're not going to be outspeeding this thing anymore. We do still have the physical defense increase. Paralyzed, is it worth trying to save Hawlucha? That's the question at this point. Is paralyzed Hawlucha worth trying to save? That can't Terra. And since we've already popped everything, I feel like we probably just have to stay in and try to take this thing out with another acrobatics. So yeah, that's what we do. As he's going to go for the Waterfall, and we do take it. Are we going to get flinched or parried? We don't get flinched or parried, actually, so that's something. And we take out the Gyarados with an acrobatics. So Hawlucha is doing its best to try and get us back in the game. So we take out the Gyarados, knock him down to 4. That is something, but it's definitely not looking great for us at this point, despite that. So, yeah. So now we're gonna see what he wants to bring in response to that. And so he has a couple options here. So what is it going to be? That is the question. And he is definitely thinking about this one. So, what is it going to be? He still has 4 left. And it is going to be the Lucario, as you would expect. So he takes some spiked damage on the switch in. So I think all we can really do, I mean, I don't think we can take an attack from this thing, even if he goes for he probably just goes extreme speed here. I don't think we take one. But yeah, I think all we can do is just close combat at this point. So that's what we're going to do, see what he wants to do. He could try to set up. No, he does go for extreme speed. We can't take it. Obviously, it's choice banned. There's no two ways about it. That's going to take the Hawlucha out and knock us down to 2. So we are in a world of problems right now. All we have left is the Gastrodon and the Iron Moth. So I feel like we come in with the Gastrodon here because I don't think, at choice banned, Iron Moth is not very bulky, so I don't think it can take an attack. So we're going to have a little bit of a choice on our hands right now. So he does have switches out at this point. So he could actually, he could extreme speed for damage, or he could switch into something to absorb an attack from us and then revenge kill us. At this point, I feel like we probably have to make a really big risk at this point and probably try to predict that he switches, and because if he switches into Tornadus, he could very well switch into Tornadus here. But if he doesn't switch out, then we lose. So I feel like as much as I want to, we might have to just... I don't want to play it safe, but I feel like we... this is terrible. I feel like we go Earth Power. We go Earth Power here, and he does switch, so we should have taken the risk. He probably goes Tornadus. Yep, he goes Tornadus. So we 100% should have risked the switch. So we go Earth Power, and it doesn't touch this thing. So he's probably more than likely packing grass coverage for us. So I guess at this point we just switch into Iron Moth. That's really all we can do, because we can't lose. I mean, we're pretty much in big trouble anyway, but we switch to the Iron Moth here, and so he does go for a Tailwind again, actually, so that's terrible. So he's going to get a Tailwind up, so that probably seals our fate at this point. So what can we do? I guess the only thing we can really do here, we can't lock into Sludge Wave because he's still got the Steel type. I don't really want to go for Discharge again because he knows we have it. So I guess we just go Flamethrower here and see what he wants to do. He actually goes for the Bleak Wind Storm, knocks us down by about half. As we go for the Flamethrower, he does outspeed thanks to Tailwind, and the Flamethrower does a ton of damage, actually knocks him down to about a third, which is good. So I guess that is positive. All we can really do is just go for another Flamethrower here, so that's all we can do. He goes for another Bleak Wind. We do survive it on 4 HP, which is nice. We go for the next Flamethrower, and it is enough to take the Tornadus out and knock him down to 3. So that is something. So yeah, that is something. So we're hanging on just barely here, but I don't know that it's going to matter, as now he does go ahead and come in with the Bax Caliber. So he takes some spikes damage here, and we can't afford to switch, obviously, with the Iron Moth. I don't think. He's probably got he's got multiple priority. Actually, every Pokemon he has left knows priority, so there's no point in switching the Iron Moth. We're just going to Flamethrower, but he does just have Ice Shard on deck, goes for that. And that is it for Iron Moth, and that knocks us down to 1. So it's basically, at this point, it's all as he looks to regain some HP with the leftovers. It's basically all on Gastrodon at this point. Tailwind does end. I don't think that matters because obviously Gastrodon gets outsped by at least 2, if not all 3 of his remaining Pokemon. I think all 3 actually. So we're going to come in with the Gastrodon. We actually do have a move we can hit this thing with super effectively, that being the Ancient Power. So, I mean, that's really all we can do right now is just go for the Ancient Power. So that's what we're going to do. Yeah, we'll see what he wants to do as he goes for Swords Dance, so that's terrible. So he's going to go ahead and get that Sharp Attack increase with the Bax Caliber. We do go for the Ancient Power with the Gastrodon, and that does take him down by a little less than half. And so, yeah, that's not great damage, unfortunately, as he does get some HP back with the leftovers. So we definitely can't take 2 attacks at this point from this thing, but not even be able to take 1, actually. So I think we're pretty much done for. We're just going to click Ancient Power again as he goes for a Glaive Rush, and at +2 we cannot take 1. So yeah, it's going to knock the Gastrodon out, and that is game. So yeah, we are going to lose that one 3-0 against H.I.M. That was a rough one. Not going to lie, the score wasn't obviously super... close, but not super spread either. Yeah, I mean, that crit just, the crit from the Lucario critting the close combat on the Earthworm, that undoubtedly cost us the game in retrospect. Yeah, so we backed out all the way. Not that it matters. But yeah, so not gonna lie, very disappointed in this one. And yeah, I guess I don't really have too much else to say at this point. I guess that's what the weekly recaps are for. So yeah, unfortunately with that, the Philadelphia Pidgeys are going to fall to a 4-3 record. So we are still above water, but just barely, heading into the last couple of weeks of the season. And yeah, I guess I'm just going to leave it there for this one, and we're going to talk about it more in the weekly recap / preview video next week. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching it, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.